thanks very much for a comprehensive answer to that. General, I want to ask more selfishly again about our soldiers. Any modifications in the redeployment home? I know we've got a lot of 2nd Heavy Brigade Combat Team already home, 3rd Cav, some of them starting to roll. I haven't even asked about 3rd Sustainment Brigade, and they're just ridiculously outstanding service there in Iraq. But how are we looking for bringing the Marne Division home?
Oh, well, we're looking good. Everybody's on schedule right now. This morning at 10 o'clock in the city of Mosul, I attended the transfer of authority of the 2nd Heavy Brigade Combat Team to the 4th Brigade of the 1st Cavalry Division. And what a great ceremony. The great news for my families back home at Fort Stewart, all my Spartan families, is there were only 10 Spartans present. It was Colonel Sexton, Sergeant Major Martin, and 8 hardy individuals. All the rest of my Spartans are either in the air headed home or at some airfield in Iraq or Kuwait getting ready to head home. So bottom line for all my families is we are on time. 2nd Brigade is on time, flowing home. Aviation Brigade is on time, flowing home from Afghanistan. 1st Brigade, I wish I could bring them home sooner, but they're on time. It's just going to be late November, first week in December. But the bottom line is no extensions. Everybody's tracking. We're looking very good. And for my Vanguard families, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Sonny, I'm sorry. Whenever you talk about somebody coming home, I always think about my families that have just launched someone or are dealing with a middle deployment. This modular army has got us dealing brigades like cards to different divisions, and everybody's on a different deployment schedule. So the Vanguard, I saw Colonel Artigue and Command Sergeant Major Altman today, and Lieutenant Colonel Reynolds and Sergeant Major Johnson from the 6-8 Cav of the 4th Brigade. They came to the transfer authority ceremony for Colonel Sexton. And they look great. They're doing wonderful in Anbar province, very tough area on the Syrian border, between Syrian border and Baghdad. But they're doing a wonderful job, and they are on track for a 12-month deployment. And the Sustainment Brigade headquarters takes care of us. They're running logistics from essentially Baghdad to the Turkish border. That certainly includes us. And it's nice to have family taking care of you on that sort of thing. And they're doing wonderful. Saw Colonel Marcy and Sergeant Major Johnson today as well. They are on track for a 12-month deployment. So we're looking good right now, got our fingers crossed.
All right, I was asking about your situation. When do you come home, and what do you anticipate doing when this tour as the commander of Task Force Marne is done?
Well, we transfer of authority right now, if everything goes straight, on the 4th of November at 11 o'clock in the morning. Right here where I'm standing at Contingency Operating Base Spiker in Tikrit, Iraq. And I should get on a plane with a very small, hearty group of dog-faced soldiers, the last remaining dog faces at Cobb Spiker. We'll get on an airplane that night, and I sure hope to walk across Cottrell Field on the 5th of November, no later. And then it's back to business, back in coastal Georgia. Just looking forward to getting home to Ginger and all the wonderful folks there in coastal Georgia.
We can't wait to have you home, I guarantee you. Now, one of the things we enjoy doing, I don't know how wide our window is here, but it's maybe my favorite part, and this will be posted online, and we'll drive people to it. Unedited, unfettered, regardless of whatever you want to say. Answer questions I haven't asked, expand on things we have discussed. Anything you want to say, General, let her rip.
Well, sure thing, Sonny. Thanks. If you don't mind, I'll hit a couple of things. I would say been really 5 big positive outcomes of this 13-month deployment that the division headquarters has been on. Number one, and the first challenge we were faced with was combined security mechanism. Bring the Kurds and the Arabs together. Give them an operational problem that they must solve together, and try and keep the ethnic tensions down while closing a seam on the ground that the violent extremists were using to move lethal munitions and take advantage of a gap between Kurdish and Arab forces to hurt the population. We've done that. And I've seen incredible progress in Kurd-Arab relations. We're not out of the woods yet. We have very, very tense moments coming up, like the census, which is coming up in December, which will heighten ethnic tension. But I'm convinced that the mechanism we put in place will keep a lid on it and facilitate a proper execution of the census. The second thing that we're so proud to be a part of was the national elections. That was the first time this country got to vote for individuals, not party blocks. And that is huge. And so now what you have is you have the rank and file population of Iraq holding elected officials accountable, personally accountable. They can't hide behind a party or a bloc. It is, I elected you. Now I expect you to make good decisions when you're in the Council of Representatives. That was a wonderful thing to watch. They came out in droves. It wasn't like 2005 where the Sunnis stayed back. Matter of fact, I've got two provinces up here in the north which are predominantly Sunni. The voter turnout was in the 70 and 80% range. We are so proud just to have been a part of that. And the next thing that we're very proud of is we kick-started entrepreneurship. That's going to be lost to the history books. But some wonderful young captains, non-commissioned officers with some great State Department folks looked at problems and approached them a different way.